Hey guys, it's Dave from Dwarven Miniatures here. I just want to go through a small video, I say small, about 20 minutes long, of this Dwarven pawn, part of my chess sets that I make on my Patreon every month. Well, sometimes I make every month. Basically, this guy is a dwarf, as you can see, and I just want to go through the process that I use to make him. As you can see at the moment, all I'm doing is blocking out the face very quickly. It's a miniature at the end of the day, you can't ignore that fact. And we're just blocking in the landmarks of the face. Doesn't necessarily need to follow the reference that I'm using, but it's there as more a guideline than anything else. Everything else is more muscle memory of my own I've developed over the years. Sculpting in the ear very quickly. I say quickly. This video is sped up by times 7, so the actual video itself is around 2 hours, 20 minutes for the whole model in real time. I'll post this up if people want to actually see that, but if you don't, that's completely fine. If there's interest, I'll probably post it anyway, just to have something there, I suppose. So I've put in the eyes. Blocked in the eyes, put some spheres in the eyeballs as the eyeballs, pulling out the neck to block in for the body. I do a little bit of anatomy here. There's absolutely no reason to do this, but it makes me feel a bit better about myself. Basically to get these landmarks in place and make sure he just doesn't look like a loaf of bread. Do little scratches to indicate muscles. Again, none of this is really important. Shoulders, whacking them in, mainly to see if they're in the right place. Then I think I skip straight to the hat. Is very much like me. I'll jump from one thing to another, get all these bits and pieces in place. So he hasn't got any hair, so the hat is a good landmark for that. And then I just leave the hat as it is, and then move on to something else, and I pull out the arms. What the arms are, the stubs at the end of the day. Now go back to the eyes, work on the eyes. I've done my best to crop out most of this video, so there's no bits that are just standing doing nothing. But there may be a few bits a bit too. So just blocking in the beard. Back to always moving around, keeping everything at the same sort of detail level. That's how you don't spend. Make sure you're just doing it as you go. Whacking the moustache. I do change the design later. It's not the same. We're just doing lips, which don't really matter. It's going to be covered by a moustache anyway. Cheekbones, and giving the beard some sort of silhouette, which would be quite nice for the final piece. Around the hat again. Brows, throwing in the eyebrows. Using Damn Standard to create some eyebrow hair. I'll definitely make them bigger later. Now I'm blocking in some beard hair. Trying to figure out what direction I want everything to go. A symmetry for the left and right, and then actually making the strands, I make sure it's all asymmetrical, especially in the middle. More noticeable. The left and right were both still symmetrical. This is where it starts to look pretty bad, but I go back and always tweaking, always moving things around. Folds using the Damn Standard. Sorry, Orb's Cracked brush. Orb's Cracked for the strands of the beard. And there you go, you can see how I go symmetrical, then I turn it off. Do some of the middle strands. Normal. Playing around with the hat. My eyes just so I can sort of indication of how he looks. I'm not fond of it at this point. You can tell because I'm very much moving around and stopping. As saw the So yeah, I'm just playing around with the beards again. Sorry, the cheeks again, moving things around. You know, all this stuff could have been done a while ago, but I always fiddle. Could have been done a lot faster than 2 hours. There's always room. Growth. I think I saved this out here. Or I do something. I think I'm looking for reference. Yep. So that's my pawn from my undead set. Just using him for scale and reference so I can see, you know, it's the same height as the other pieces. Otherwise, you'll have huge dwarves and smaller other pieces. Not sure what I was doing. I think I was looking for more reference. Here I've created a extract of the body to make armor, I believe. So you see his might be his under armor, or undershirt or something. Sizing up the base. Sure the base is the right size. And then bringing that over and throwing that on that guy. So that's the shirt, I believe. Yep. So the seam goes down the sides and folds. Quick and easy, quick and dirty. I do this on pretty much every single model. And then I create his breastplate. Just a standard sphere, turn dynamics into place, sharpen some edges. And Bob's your uncle. That's pretty much that done. I'll still fiddle around. I'm making a metal clasp, throw that into place. Nothing too crazy, just cube and some spheres. Then I think I'll bring in a strap here or something. Cylinder. Squeeze it down to shape. Nope, seam, okay. So I'm going to the hat and doing a seam there. Arms. Playing around with the arms. So shoulders, again, not going to see them underneath the pauldrons, but they're going to be there. I took the breastplate, duplicated it, turned it to the back. So now he's got a back plate. Here I'm making pauldron. This is the pauldron. I do change this eventually, I think. So I basically took a cylinder, took the bottom off, and then I extracted it out into like a pauldron shape. Strap going along the middle. This is very quick. I'm actually finding it difficult to actually keep up with myself here. So the strap goes along the front and the back. This is just a cylinder which has the middle taken out of it. And then when I'm done with all this, I'll fill the hole to make sure it's solid. There, I'm just creating the clothing, mirroring it across, back to the beard. I definitely spend a lot more time on the nose, I think, later on. I'm not happy with how it looks here. Even now, I kind of hate it. Know how it turns out. So again, just the quick folds seam down the back. Just quick, easy detail, which prints well, renders well. Here I'm making some sort of like, almost like a leather look. What I'm going for here, but I think in the end I change it and make it more metallic. I use my other reference for that. Preliminary sketches. One of the first sketches that I do, I've had done by Shane. concept guy. So we're just doing more straps. More straps here going on the inside. Keep the armor in place. Adjusting and fiddling around again. Moving around the whole model, changing things. So I saw there that I didn't have the clasp on that part of the armor, so I mirrored that across. Also, there's not actually one above it. Should put that in later. We'll see. See if past Dave did that. So this is like a fur and the leather thing I was doing, and I kind of decided that I don't like it later on. So there's a cut in the video here. I did skip a little bit, mainly because I crashed, I believe. So part of it actually wasn't saved. But I changed I'm using one of my older sketches now. All I did from the previous point to this point is I moved the beard around, made it a bit fuller, as well as the moustache. As you can see at the moment, I'm taking away the pauldrons and replacing them with a more metallic look. Harder edges, which are then going through and wear down a little bit with a trim dynamic. Very simple, very quick and easy. Mirroring that across. Mirror all across. Its head instant looks better. It looks a bit better. Small details, stitching on the hood. I think this is pretty much the head done at this point. I do have to do the beard, but then once the beard's done, breaking some of that up. The hood, playing around, sculpting the hood up. Beards next. Adding the strands. These are the strands that I go with in the end. Quick and dirty again, but it looks like a beard, so it's fine, I guess. All I'm using is orbs cracked. Orbs cracked for the strands, individual strands. Don't have to go too crazy, just enough to show the direction. And I do the same with the sash. Hope. Yeah. Sash is next, I think. No. I can do something else now. It's ADD for you guys. Oh, Tash now. Again, just same as before, just sculpting individual strands. Alter it around a bit so it's not totally symmetrical. And I think that's the end of the beard. And I think at this point I'm pretty much deciding that the head's completely done. Adding a few scratches to the armor plates, making them look metal, adding a few details, pushing things to where they need to be. So decided that the clasp wasn't there, so I added it. Adding some wear to the edges, giving the armor a bit of depth, not totally blocky, but also not an issue when it comes to printing. Fiddling around with the beard again, making it look a bit cooler, bringing the brows down, giving them a somber look. Just adding details around the model, bringing everything to the same sort of level. Adding wear on the breastplate, using trim dynamic and hard polish, I believe, on the breastplate. And again with the leather straps, keeping everything together, just adding a bit of detail here and there. This is mainly for the render purpose. You know, folks like it when I add detail like this anyway. So I think at this point I am pretty much done, and I do move on to the base. So here I am sizing things up, creating the central piece. I move from the thick piece at the bottom to a stepped approach because I'm going to add some detail between that and the initial step. I do go for some ore looking stuff. So here I am, I'm using a IMM rock brush I made several years ago to create a rocky formation texture using depth. As you can see on the left hand side, I'm bringing it down to basically make it so that the center of the model is embedded into the model. Yeah, so now I've done the base part. I'm going to go into the middle and design something here. As you can see on the concept, there's little pillars on 4 sides of the model and the centerpiece. This entire model isn't actually totally central, so it's a little bit off. And I do spend a bit of time trying to line that up correctly. I personally hate these sort of bases, the architectural ones, the symmetrical ones that go all the way around, because it's very difficult to wrap it around a cylinder. So I do freehand it a lot of the time. As you can see, this is freehand with symmetry on, obviously. But something like this, I'd usually model it inside Maya. But I found it was a lot easier just to go for it and pray for the best. I have gotten quite good over the years at making hard surface stuff. I used to hate it. Could never do it. Always looked muddy. But I think now with trim dynamic and hard polish in my tool belt, I can really make these things really look good. So these are like mine doorways. There's thematic for the dwarven pawn. He is a miner. So there will be a pickaxe being created soon. Here's me trying to create some pattern around the central piece. In the final piece, I actually hate this bit. It wasn't the best. I couldn't really get it looking the way I did. I'm going backwards and forwards here, but in the end, I did decide to just go with something. A lot of back and forth here. But I suppose it's good for you guys to see the process of what I do, trying to line things up. I'm using lazy mouse. That's where you can see the line. The lazy mouse option is inside the stroke. I think I do go for that one. That one looks good. After a save, which probably takes about half an hour. Yeah, I do go for that, did I? Go for that. And I'm trying to line up and get the right thickness for the next piece. And I stall. Okay. So I'm using the morph target brush to brush out some of the dodgy ends. Go back to the pillars and start lining them up how I want them. Add the strokes to them. Very simple stuff. Filling around again, making sure that all this is brought across how I want it to be. This is the pickaxe. This is just a cylinder that I took the bottom off, squished it up, the blade, then wrapped it around the cylinder. Wasn't the best, but it's the only way I could sort of think of doing it without creating undercuts. The handle of the pickaxe, self-explanatory, really. I do create some wood strands for it soon. Do that now. Yep. Creating a random wood grain, nothing crazy. Quite effective, notice. So I think this is pretty much it in terms of the actual video content. It's more all I'm doing at this point is lining things up and making sure everything's right. I do create some studs here around the middle. Bit of decorative piece just to kind of hide. It's more to hide the bottom of these door things that I am eyeballing. You can see very difficult to get these in the right place. Even more so to actually mirror them round in different locations. So let's fiddle with that a bit. Yeah, so all I'm doing here is just refining the armor. Yeah, so I'm adding some scratches and making sure that the armor is detailed as well. I create a indent in the base here. I thought it would have been a bit more of a better design than how I did, just have it completely flat, as well as the doorways almost stopped at the base. I think it would have been cool if it went inwards, so I changed that. Here I'm adding surface texture to the gravel. I want to say it is gravel around the stone. That'll obviously give it a little bit more noise effect. Don't know what I'm doing here. Defining the edges of. I've made that worse. This is where you don't mess around with things. Just leave it as it is. Done now. But that's pretty much the end of the video. I go through now and just add little bits of wear, and then I render it out and pre-support it, ready to be released. If you like this model, you can find it on my Patreon this month, January 2023. And you can buy it off of my Minifactory afterwards. It'll be chess pawn, Dwarven Chess Pawn, or Dwarf Chess Pawn, something along them lines. If you like what you've seen, let me know, and I'll probably do something like this in the future with something else. So, if you appreciate it, show your appreciation. And I'll just let myself show you front and back of the model. And here we have the render of the said model. Side, the front. See the details of the front really pop in the render. The other side and back. Alright, thanks for watching, guys. Appreciate. Love. Bye. Bye.